To access SBEM Online, you should click on the SBEM Online link on the NES1 welcome page. This will take you through to the Select Project screen, which shows you a table of all of the projects that you've previously done, as well as those that are still in progress. From here you can load a selected report, create a new report, copy a selected report, copy the libraries for a selected report, load XML, or return to NES1. If you click on the New button to create a new report, it will take you through to the project address details. Here you should enter in the provisional details of the property that you're assessing. And also the inspection date, which is a mandatory field. Clicking on the Add button will take you into the software. To load a report, simply select the report from the table and click on the Load button. This will have now loaded the report for you. SBEM Online is split into 4 main categories: General, Libraries, Geometry, and Results. First, let's have a look at General. The Home section just gives you a summary of your project so far. For example, the address and project information, how many library items you've declared, how many zones and envelopes you've got in your project. It also gives you a map which shows you an overhead view of your building. This is based on the postcode that you entered in to the project address details. In the General section, you should just enter in some basic information about your building, such as the project name, the building type and location. The air conditioning section just asks you if there's air conditioning installed, and if so, what is the output of that air conditioning system. Once you've selected this, click on the OK button. The Library section is where you start to build up a catalogue of all of the elements that your building is made up of. For example, constructions, heating and air conditioning, lighting, and ventilation systems. To add a new library item, you should click on the New button and enter in the details requested. Once you've entered in the relevant details, click on the OK button to save that entry. This will then be added to the table of the relevant library item. Once you've created all of your library items, you can then start to create your building in the Geometry section. The Geometry section is based around a plan view. This plan view gives you a visual interpretation of your building and then allows you to modify its attributes. To create a new zone, click on the New button. Enter in the relevant zone details, and click on the OK button to continue. This will create a new zone on the plan. You can drag this zone around the plan and drop it into place. Down the left hand side, you can show a summary of the zones. You can show the envelopes that are associated to that zone, and you can add windows and add doors. The drop-down boxes allow you to pick the relevant attributes for that zone. For example, to allocate the ventilation system present. The Show Envelopes button gives you a summary of the envelopes for that particular zone and allows you to change these envelopes. Once you've finished entering all the data in for your project, you can now go ahead and calculate results. The results screen may throw up some errors that you need to address before you can calculate results. Once you've addressed these, you can then click on the Calculate Result button. Once the results have calculated successfully, it will show you the building's energy rating, allow you to review the reports, show you how many recommendations the software has produced, and shows you the energy consumption information as well as the CO2 information. You should now look at editing your recommendations. To exclude a recommendation from the report, select it from the list and click on the Exclude button. This will change the status to Out. If the report doesn't show a recommendation that you think would be useful, you can select that recommendation and click on the Include button. This will change the status column to In. To make a comment on any of these recommendations, you should select the recommendation and click on the Change button. This will allow you to comment as appropriate. Click OK to save the changes. If you wish to add a user recommendation, click on the New button and enter in the recommendations details. Once you've manipulated your recommendations, you should head to the results screen and recalculate the results again. This will ensure that the recommendations report is updated and contains your amendments. If you require help at any time, then you can click on any of the I buttons in the top right hand corner of the data entry screens. This will launch a help file. The help file is fully interactive and contains information on the use of SBEM Online as opposed to its conventions.